Awesome. Hi, my name is Ashley. Welcome to the IDTMyWay podcast. This week, we have the very famous Tommy Precht from Allan Edwards, who's joining us this week. Hi, Mr. Tommy. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good. I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited that you're here. I know.
I'm excited to be here.
Good. I'm glad. So, I've known you my whole life, pretty much. So.
Long time. You knew me before this was great.
Before it was great. That's fact. But I always knew you as the doppelganger of Larry the Cable Guy.
Yes, sir.
So yes. So how many times do you think you've been stopped and asked if you were Larry the Cable Guy?
Several times.
Several times.
Once in the Los Angeles area.
That's wild. And you just go along with it?
I couldn't. I thought they were joking, but then I realized they were serious.
Oh man. Did you actually sign anything for it?
No, didn't get that far.
Too honest. That's
yeah,
okay.
I was too honest.
Sweet. So for this podcast, I kind of just want to start with you introducing yourself to the audience and kind of explaining who you are, what you do, and kind of how you got involved in the oil and gas industry to start.
Well, I actually kind of had an odd start. I started, my first sales job was actually in industrial fire equipment. And some of our accounts led into some production companies, all production companies. And of course, I was raised in Southwest Louisiana, and at that time, oil field was huge. And a lot of my family and friends, that's where they made their living, was in the oil field. So I kind of graduated, had an opportunity to go to work for a oil field construction company. And I went to work as them as a general superintendent, and that worked in the sales, and that's how I ended up in the energy industry in the oil field.
I'm assuming you like it because you've been in it for a while.
I love it, but I think it's 27 years this year.
So what do you like about this industry?
The people. I mean, it's a good group of people to work with and on a daily basis, really. And then, I kind of went from the oil field to the pipeline, and that's where I spent the bulk of my career, is on the pipeline side of things. And it doesn't matter what part of the country you go to, pipeline people are just pipeline people. And I love working with them.
Awesome, sweet. And how long have you known my dad?
Oh, I'd say probably close to 20 years.
Wow.
At least 20 years.
Yeah, I love that. My dad's over in the corner, so laughing, having a good time. Sweet. So I do have a list of questions, and so we're going to kind of talk about your history with Allan Edwards, and I kind of want you to talk about kind of what Allan Edwards is doing, but kind of what is the history of Allan Edwards, not just as a company, but also how did you come to be with them?
Yeah, Allan Edwards has been around since 1947, so a very old company. And I loved the construction part of it on the Buoyancy when I first met these guys. I knew them a few years before. I actually went to work for them, and their business intrigued me because of what they'd done when it come to the Buoyancy and the concrete coating. And eventually ended up going to work there in 2014, January of 2014, and it's been a really good move for me.
Awesome, I love that. So what all does Allan Edwards actually do? What is in the product line? What are their services?
When I started, it was mainly the Buoyancy, which is the concrete coating. Back then it was concrete set-ons and then eco bags for all Buoyancy products. But they've been in building repair suites for quite some time, weld-on pipeline repairs. And that's where I kind of shine because that was my background. Most of my pipeline career has been on the integrity side and repairs. So we matched up pretty well there. But what I enjoyed about starting there was obviously I knew a lot of people in that industry, but I also was learning a new part of their business that I'd never been around, the concrete coating and all that. I'd seen it taken off in the field before, but it was real interesting for me to be able to see how that started and how they've done it. So it was a good learning curve for me. But since I've been at Allan Edwards, Chip he's fourth generation running the company now. And we've branched off into several different things, and it's been exciting to be a part of helping develop new products and having a vision to bring our company, expand what we do.
Yeah, and I know one of those things is Omega, right?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? It's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting.
I've had some composite background in part of my career, so I knew a little bit about that side of the business. So, and when I left it to come to this side of the business was just another opportunity. Never really thinking that I'd ever would be back in that boat again, so to speak. So it was exciting because it was something I knew something about, and the development part of it kind of brought back old memories from early in my career, and it's been exciting. And then we've developed a compression sleeve called Theta Wrap, and that was real. I was pretty instrumental in that, helping that along, and it's just been really neat to work with a core group of people that are focused on developing new stuff. And of course, we reached out to Chris because of my early career, being working with Chris on developing products, so I kind of knew where to go and who I trusted to help lead me in that direction, and introduced Chris to Chip, and we kind of rolled from there.
I know ADV does a lot with Allan Edwards. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about Allan Edwards' forward-thinking approach, because I know you guys are doing a lot, and then how has ADV kind of been involved in that process?
Well, I'll use the sleeves for an example. To my knowledge, there hasn't been a whole lot of testing done in weld-on repair sleeves. It's pretty much been an accepted process for many, many years. Of course, obviously with the field inspection of after repairs complete. So we kind of started there. We had some challenges. Sometimes we had some companies that were using pre-tested pipe and making sleeves in the field, and so it led us into a JIP and a project where we could prove and try to help people understand that a manufactured sleeve from plate would perform just as well as making one from pipe. So and that kind of got us started rolling with testing, and it was kind of new. It was very new to Chip. You know, coming from the composite background, we test all the time. Testing hardly ever ends. You know, depending.
I've seen you do the testing at ADV.
So it was new for them. It was new for me because I didn't know as much about steel as I did composites. So it was a good learning purpose for all of us really involved. But that's where we really got started with ADV with Allan Edwards.
Yeah. So do you see Allan Edwards continuing to just be more forward-thinking and innovative as moving forward? Yeah,
I do. Sleeves to me had kind of become almost, for lack of better terms, a commodity item. And I knew that there was obviously science behind it. And me not being an engineer, I knew who to go to.
Well, I understand that. I'm not an engineer
we wanted to be able to prove to companies that it's solid to be able to use repair sleeves, and we kind of patterned off what we had done in the past with composites, and just kind of moved in that direction.
Kind of focusing not so much on the science engineering side of it, but focusing more on the business side of it. What are some of the challenges that small businesses are really facing right now?
Well, it's always tough when you launch a new product. You know, when you've got that gap in that area of development.
Yeah.
And that takes time, and then of course when you get your product ready to go to market, then you have that gap of being able to introduce it to the industry and see who would be interested in the approval process, because that also takes some time. So I would say one of the biggest challenges is you start your early phases of development, and sometimes that gratification of being able to get your first sale can be quite a gap. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's a tough part of it.
Yeah, so kind of switching, because this is called IDTMyWay, kind of focusing on the IDT EXPO side of it. We're so excited that Allan Edwards and you specifically are just so involved and so interested in IDT EXPO. But man, how important, and you just said it, but how important are those connections for small businesses?
I mean, that's where it's at. In fact, I just had a recent discussion with Chip, the guy that I work for, and we were talking about how important it is to have the relationships and the rapport. I mean, service, good products, that is obviously key to any successful business. But the real connection is being able to have the rapport with people that can trust you, and not just trust you in the fact that you're there for them and you want to help take care of their needs and service them. And that takes a load off of somebody, because I tend to forget sometimes. We kind of get focused on the product that we sell. The product that we sell is just one small part of a big project. So anytime you can have someone that can trust you and depend on you, you can kind of lighten that load off of a major project, and they really like that. And plus you get to build rapport, and I love people. So
yeah, there you go.
You know, over 20-something years stretch, I've got lots of customers that our kids were little, and we talk about all the things that go through life, and then you start to realize that it's more than just a customer. You got some rapport and some friendships out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I know whenever you're at any of our events, or whenever you even come and visit ADV, you were just the light in the room.
Well,
so
I enjoy people, and I enjoy what I do. for sure.
I'm glad. So what advice or encouragement would you give other businesses in leveraging specifically IDT Expo? Because you've been a part of our events really since the beginning. So what advice would you give to those businesses?
For me, what I really like is obviously a lot of these new products that we're looking at and developing are all new technology. And technology is pretty much surrounds IDT, you know, the focus on technology. So obviously that's really good to be a part of. Mm-hmm. And then the crowd that it brings is usually a good crowd, a large crowd, and obviously very interested in hearing about new technologies. Mm-hmm. I think the thing that kind of sets it apart for me, for IDT, is the way that it was structured to be able to include a circle. And some of you that know IDT know what I'm talking about, but I like the way that it pulls together the manufacturer, the end users, regulatory people, and even financing, mm-hmm. you know, the financing part of the business, because obviously all these projects and running pipelines are very expensive, so budgeting and so forth is really important, but it's really the only organization that I've been a part of that has really circled around and pulled all the facets together. And of course, when you do that, it makes it attractive. And every event I've been to, even just some of the average meetings I call just regular meetings without being a big event, you get to see so many of the right kind of people in our industry. And of course, after you've been in it as long as I have, you get to visit with a lot of friends.
Exactly.
So that's kind of my perspective.
It's like a big party for you.
Yeah. It's a good time to get together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So kind of what, from the IDT Expo experience, what are some examples and success stories of the connections that you've had at IDT Expo?
Shoot, without getting, we could go more than 20 minutes for sure. What it's really done for me is, you know, like I said, I used to be in the composite industry. So now that we're getting back in it, it's really made it really easy to reconnect on that level. And then meeting a lot of new young people. That's been really neat about IDT. You know, IDT, it's the, you know, I know a lot of the old guys who've been around forever, you know, but it's been really interesting to meet some of the newer guys, younger guys, and seeing their perspectives. Mm-hmm. And what I really like is when you get an opportunity when they get to know you and they quiz you a lot about, you know, trying to learn more about our products, how we use it in the field. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like the teaching aspect of it, if you're a learning aspect of it, if you want. But that's been exciting for me. And plus, Chris feeds us every once.
There you go. You can't free food. That's all you need.
Can't beat a deal
free
like
food
that.
and people. That's all you
exactly
need.
Right.
Awesome. So in the future, how does Allan Edwards specifically plan to use IDT Expo to grow business?
Well, our vision is to not stop with these few products we have, especially like Omega Wrap composites. You know, we're going to no doubt be developing further systems, and of course leaning on ADV to be able to help us do all that type of testing and promoting, and then of course IDT helps that. So no doubt we want to move in the future. We're looking at more technical products, and of course anything that we can do to improve and help with particular type of repairs that may come up in the field. Mm-hmm. And all that has to be analyzed, all that has to be tested, and I happen to know a guy that can do it. So
there you go.
That's where we're going to be back.
Awesome, sweet. Well, thank you for speaking so kindly of IDT Expo and sharing a little bit about Allan Edwards. Thank you guys for listening and to the IDTMyWay podcast. And if you are looking for more episodes, you can check out literally all of our social media as well as IDTExpo.com. And we will talk to you guys in the next IDTMyWay episode. Bye.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much. Can I give you a hug?
You bet. Sure can.
Love you.
Thank you.
Yay! 15 minutes.
Cut it 5 minutes short.
No.